delay. We were having connectivity issues with our internet connection, so really sorry about all of that, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all work for the rest of the night. All right, so let me just pop out the chat window here so I can see who's on. Oh, it's very slow. Chris, I got 40% dropped frame rates.
That's very bad. Is it improving?
Nope. Nope.
It's looking okay here at the moment.
Okay, because the chat window is not even popping out for me. So everyone can see me, because I'm not seeing.
Yes.
Not seeing anything happening.
So far.
I can't see any chat.
I just got you. It's very slow.
My chat's not working, so I can't tell if anybody's talking to me or not. I'll try.
Yep, you're on.
Everyone's on? Everyone can see me? Because I've got no chat. It's not working.
Okay. But you look perfectly fine and normal from here. What's your dropped frame rate?
It's 23% right now. Sorry, guys. I can't tell if anybody's chatting with me. My YouTube chat window, it doesn't appear to be working at the moment. So hi to everyone. Oh, there we go. It's just popped up for me. Beautiful. Sorry, guys. Connectivity issues all over the place here at the moment. Well, I'm glad you could all see me, because I had no idea what was going on. Beautiful. All right. Well, hey, everyone. Hi, Kerry and Susie, Leanne. Sorry, Stephen. We'll see you when you come back. It's Shirley and Donna. Lisa, really good to see you, love. Oh, Jane, Sonia, Jenny, Cheryl and Thea, Daryl. Everyone's here. Beautiful. Hey, Dana. Good to see you. And Natalie. All right. Well, I guess we'll make a start. We're doing a Celtic Spiral Knot tonight, which is a weave that was originally created by Corvus Chainmail, I believe. It's, I've marked it as an experienced beginner. It's a little fiddly rather than difficult, but I'm sure you guys will be able to do this okay. So I'm going to switch this over. I can still see I'm getting dropped frame rates, guys, so I'm really sorry about the internet tonight. I'm just not sure, there's not much I can do about it at the moment. So we'll make the best of it. I'll swap this over to the other camera and I'll show you some of the example pieces. All right. So you can see this fluff ball here. She's actually sitting on most of the rings that I prepped for this tonight. So I'm hoping I've got enough that I managed to drag out from underneath her. Or we might have to poke her with the pliers. But anyway, that's Evie's butt, for anybody that's interested. All right, where's my stabber? I think I've lost my stabber. Yeah. Oh, there it is. That's what kids when I clean up my drawer. Okay, so this version here uses 14 and 16 gauge. So 14 gauge AWG in the BA or the silver rings. The ring ID is 5/16 of an inch, 7.94 millimeters. The AA rings in here are 16 gauge AWG with a 5/32 or 3.97 millimeter ID, and the connecting rings are 3/16 or 4.76. You can do it with the connecting rings being the same as the smaller rings, but it makes it a really tight weave and it doesn't sit better. It doesn't sit very well. So I went slightly bigger with the connecting rings just so it could sit nicer on your wrist, because as it says, it is a spiral. I don't know if I can show that enough, but you can see that spiraling as you make it. Okay, so that's the 16 and 14 gauge. This one is 16 gauge and 18 gauge. This would be my favorite size, and it's the size that went out, I believe, with the kids in the Mail Club subscription this month. So the 16 gauge AWG on the BA is a 1/4 inch ID, or 6.35 millimeters. And I chose to use 18 gauge 9/64, sorry, or 3.54 for the small rings, and 5/32 or 3.97 for the connector rings. And then the 20 and 18 gauge version, so it's 18 gauge AWG wire, and the BA rings are 3/16 or 4.76 millimeter ID. The smaller rings are 20 gauge, which is 7/64 or 2.74 mils, and the connector rings are 1/8 or 3.18. Okay. Anna, can someone tell Anna to refresh? Can someone type? Oh, I can see Kim has. Thanks for that, Kim. I'm still showing dropped frame rates here, guys, so it is going to be a little dodgy. I'm sorry. I don't think there's much more I can do about it. All right, and the kit subscribers also got the earrings, which I won't be showing you how to do tonight. That's just a bonus of being in the club. But they used 18 and 20 gauge for the Celtic Spiral Knots. Okay, so I will make a start, and I'll be demonstrating in the 14 and the 16 gauge. Evie looks determined to stay with us, so we'll do our best. And I'm hoping she hasn't mixed my rings up too badly, because she sat on my rings and sent them everywhere. Okay. Yeah, refresh. It's a great option, isn't it? All right, so taking one of your BA rings, we want the first ring to be closed. So we're going to make just a little Mobius, or beginnings of a Mobius unit. Take a second opened BA ring, or large ring, and feed it through your first ring. And then position it, snug it in like that. Now we do need this to go this way for us. We need this bottom ring to be coming up over the top. So make sure you've got those in the right position. And then once you have, wrap a twist tie around them. One, to hold them into position, but two, to give yourself a handle. You're really going to need that handle to hold onto. Well, I'm more worried about a Shirley. Oh, look, I'm going to dig one out from underneath her. There we go. More worried. She's really long haired, so I'm a bit worried about it sticking in her fur. Plus, she stole my twist tie. I had to go get another one. I went to grab it off her, and she scooped it up underneath her. So she's not sharing tonight at all. All right. So once you've got your first two rings looking like this, we want to add another ring up through the middle of those two rings. So just put it up. I go up underneath. Oh, this is very difficult trying to do it around you, Evie. I hope you appreciate this. Okay, and I want to flip that ring sort of up so that it lies back. And then we've created this little eye there in the middle. And that's where we want to place our next ring. Kitty is not helping Leanne. Not at all. All right, so we place the next one, again coming up underneath, putting it through the eye that's formed by the first two rings and the third ring that you placed. Close that up. Okay, and your work should look like this at this stage. You would have been kicked out by now. Yeah, but you're not soft and fluffy.
Yeah.
All right, so once you've got your work to this position, we want to actually flip these rings over. So we had them like this. We want to flip them over. And the rings that we're now, oh, she's going to move. There we go. Oh, look at all the rings she was sitting on, Kat. Okay, brilliant. She must have got stuck and got sick of being bumped. All right, so the rings that we're interested in now is this ring here, so the one that's coming up from the bottom up over the top, and the same ring in the first pair, the one that's coming up from underneath and up over the top. They're the two rings that we want to join. You can see they're touching just here. So taking your smallest ring, you want to feed that through both of those rings and just those two rings, short nosed. Okay, so very carefully close that up, and then we want to flip it over. So I was trying very carefully there not to dislodge this ring here that we hadn't captured yet. If it does flip out just like that, and it may very well do that, just make sure you flip that back into position. And when we flip it over to the other side, we're again looking for this ring that comes up from underneath and over the top, up from underneath, over the top, and you can see that they're touching here. So they're the rings that we want to capture with the, can you just tell her it's the short-nosed?
Yes, the narrow ones, not the new ones.
Not the wide ones, no, the short-nosed. And they're the two that we want to capture. So we just go through picking up just them. So we're only picking up 2 rings, not 4. And we close it up. Okay, so that's your first knot. So that's a unit. Okay, I'll just move these over here now that she's moved. And then just to continue on, we grab the middle-sized rings, which in this case are the 3/16, and we feed that through the end pair of the unit, close it up, grab a second one. I've got Evie hair all over everything. Okay, so you've got your 2 3/16 rings hanging off. We grab another one of your large rings. Does that help, Sonia? Does it make sense the way I've explained it? You have to get that Mobius sitting right and keep those rings in the right position. Otherwise, yeah, they just don't play nicely together. So when with the first ring of our new unit, we just put straight through the 2 3/16 rings that we just added. We close that up. So the ring sizes I chose with this enabled you to do any of these in BA or AA. So if you wanted to mix it up and do the large rings in AA and the small rings in BA, etc., you can do all of that. So I was very deliberate in the sizes that I chose to work with these. Yeah, well, that's basically the song she was named from, Shirley. So yeah. All right, so you've got your first ring of your new unit in place. Your second ring comes up underneath, going through the first ring, and then we take it through the 2 3/16, the 2 connector rings. Okay, so it forms a Mobius, and we close that up. Okay, and then we take up another ring, we bring it up through the middle of the 2 that we just created, close it up. We flip that so it sits back. We don't want it coming this way just yet, we want it to be sitting back like that. And we're going to put our next ring through the eye that you can see there that's just been formed. Okay, so up through that eye, creating a second Mobius. And then now we want to flip. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to punch in the face with my pliers. We now want to flip those rings towards us. And looking from a side view again, you want this ring here, that's the bottom ring that's coming up over the top, and this pair here the same, the bottom ring that's coming up over the top. You'll know you've got the two right rings because they're touching each other there. So taking one of your small rings, your 5/32, we capture both of those rings, and only those rings, don't grab any of the others. Oh, and I've just whacked that, so there's my very careful trying to not make it move. Okay, so we've got those two rings, and I've knocked all of that out of place. Okay. I've made a mess of it now, bumping it like that. All right. There we go. It's sitting nice again. So flipping over to the other side, again, making sure we've got the ring that comes from the bottom up over the top in both of the pairs. Making sure we put our smallest ring capturing both of those rings. You see where we've just gone through there? Close that up. And there is your second unit. So you can see that there is a real twist just there. The longer it gets, the more it settles down, but it's never completely straight. It does have a twist, but it will sit nicely on your wrist. The larger connecting rings allows it to sit flatter. So that's it, guys. It's just a repeat of each of those units. So we put two connecting rings on. Okay. We grab another open ring and we just go through those two rings there, the two connecting rings. We close that up. Okay. We go down underneath that first string in the new unit and through the two connecting rings. Oh, and I've punched again. Sorry, guys. I'm obviously in fighting mode tonight. Oh, that one hurt. All right. So we've got our two first two Mobius rings in place. Grabbing another big one, we just come straight up through the middle of them. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I could be more help to you lefties. I don't know what the answer is of that, unfortunately, except to do something tricky once it's saved. Watch it through a mirror. I don't know what the answer is. All right, so your first, your third ring goes up through the middle and it leans backwards. Oh, did I hurt you, Shirley? Sorry. Our fourth big ring comes back up underneath again through the eye that was formed by the third and the other first pair of rings. Close it up. Okay, once you've got that fourth ring in place, flip your pairs forward. Again, remembering you're looking for this ring here, the one that starts underneath and comes up. And again, for the top pair, you want this one here. The one that's on the bottom goes up over the top of the other ring. They're the two rings that you want to capture. So with your small ring, go through 1, 2 of those. Okay. Close it up. I'll try not to punch anybody this time. Beautiful. Carefully flip it over, trying to keep all the rings in place. Again, bottom pair, So this one here, you can see it sits on the bottom and comes up. Same with this pair on the top. We're looking for this ring that sits on the bottom and comes up. They're the two that we want to join. So we put the ring through both of those and close it up. All right, so how's everybody with that? Is that making sense? Is everybody seeing that okay? Hopefully there's not too many dropouts happening for you guys.
It's all fine.
It's all fine because I've still got dropped rate frames happening all over the place. All right, I do seem to have lost some of those rings when Evie sat. I think she might have some rings in her fur. We might need to check that out. Or I've mixed the rings up somewhere because they were all over the place and they're such similar sizes. I don't know. All right, I'm just going to open some new rings because I'm not sure what I've got there now. With Evie sitting on top. Okay, makes a lot of sense. Beautiful. You've just got to be aware of where the rings and the Mobius are at, and you should be fine. I've got rings here for one more unit, so I'll just do one more for anybody that's still having difficulties with it. Just to make sure we've got it in place. Okay, so once you finish your unit, you put your 2 connector rings in, which is your 3/16 in this case. You feed one of your big rings through your connector rings. This is the first ring of your new unit. Closing that up. Okay, your second ring, we want to bring that up underneath and then through the connector rings, just like that. Okay, so that gives you the first of your Mobiuses. Taking your third big ring, we bring that again straight up underneath through the middle. We close that up. And we lie that back so that we can see the eye there. Don't flip it forward, we want it to lie back at this stage. It's having a snooze. We bring our fourth ring up underneath them all and we come through the eye that's formed by the first pair and the third ring. Okay. And close it up. And then flip it forward. Remembering that we're looking for the rings that are on the bottom. So this ring here, you can see it's underneath, comes up over the top. Again, with the second pair of rings, the one that's underneath, that comes up over the top. Those two are the two that we want to join. So I'm going to grab, hopefully these rings are the right size. Put it through just 1, 2 of those rings. Just those 2 there, don't pick up any of the others. Okay, very carefully close that ring up. It's easier if you don't dislodge all the other rings, but you should be fine if you do. Okay, carefully flip it over to the other side. Again, we want the 2 rings that are coming up from the bottom of the Mobiuses. So this one here, and this one here, the 2 that are touching. They're the 2 we want to join together. So we go through 1, 2, and close it up. And then that's it. We just add the connector rings and keep going. All right, so I think most people are okay with that. I'm really sorry to those that are left-handed. I don't know how to make it easier for you. I'm assuming there's a way with mirrors, or I don't know if you can flip. I have no idea. I'm really sorry. Okay, so if everyone's good, I'm going to swap that over. All right, so that's it. Celtic Spiral Knot by Corvus Chainmail. So you can do a few different things with that weave. So I said those ring sizes were chosen purely for their BA/AA benefits. You can tighten some of those ring sizes up, but the tighter they are, the tighter the spiral is, especially the connector rings, and it makes for a messy sitting on your wrist. Okay, so I think that's it.
I think so.
Let's start. So as you guys know, we've got restock coming in. We've put the 16 gauge 3/16 AA up for those that were still wanting to buy for the quilts. Those are all up on the website. So jump on and grab what you need before it all disappears on us again. We should have the mail club going out early next week. Fingers crossed. I'm actually still waiting for the loop bag items to arrive. Now they're in Australia. They should be here on Monday, but if they're delayed, then we might be a little bit delayed getting all our mail club subscriptions out. But hopefully you'll still all get them in plenty of time. Okay. The square AA Dawn, is that what you're after? I actually have some here. I haven't put up on the website. I do, though, need to take the Mail Club rings out of it first before I put it up on the website. So one of the kits in May is actually using the square AA. I need to take that out first, and then I will put the remainder up on the website. I'm glad you enjoy it, Stephen. So I said they might be a little bit later this week. We're waiting on the loot bag items to turn up. So hopefully you'll enjoy them all. Cheryl, thanks for joining us, love. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Oh, when are the square? Oh, the due date on the square. Is that what you're talking about? I don't know. What was the due date, Christopher?
Oh, that's August.
Sometime in August?
Plenty of time yet.
Why is he going to murder you when he sees you're edging, Shirley? It should be just all
The same, yeah.
It should be all just the same. What are you doing different? Now you've got me worried. Yeah, Stephen, there's a square kit coming out in May. It's pretty sexy, actually. I like it. Shirley, you got me worried, love. What weave are you doing? All right, so does anybody have any questions or anything that they need us to talk about? That's good, haven't started yet. No, Rosalind, I haven't started yet either. I haven't even really finalised what colours I'm using yet. Doubling the small rings. And let's look. Personally, I think that's going to lock the spiral up too much, but you know, go for it. Have a try. I haven't done it, so
yeah. Well,
my answer is give it a go. My mind is far too twisted for you to call the male sexy. Male is sexy. What the hell are you talking about? No, Leanne, thanks for joining us. All right, Stephen, will you keep your mental image to yourself then, mate? Doesn't sound like any of us wants to. I'm a bit worried why you need to fix it, Shirley. Will Chris make a cameo appearance on camera?
Not
Keep,
tonight, Jane.
I keep trying to talk him into it, Jane, but he's not having it just yet.
I'm like Wilson, the neighbour in Home Improvements.
Oh, right, yes. Oh, that's true. Mm.
Yes.
Daryl, is that what you're saying yes to?
Yep.
Yep. Is he?
Oh, actually, no. I do think we have.
I don't know, to be honest, Daryl. We'd have to check the
more.
list. Thanks for joining us, Lisa. Getting up so early. Hey, Sarah. All right, so if no one else has got any questions or anything they want to talk about,
Wes mentioned that to just PM him.
PM him. Yep. I'm usually, Linda Bowers is doing it. There you go. I knew we had somebody else in there. The voice behind Deb. Well, technically he's to my right. All right, Shirley. Yeah, no, you're confusing me with every comment you make. I'm a bit worried why it's ragged and why you're not a knitter. Okay. Worker weights. All right, Anna, thanks so much for joining us. Bye, Rosalind.
I think
Bye,
the
Margaret.
ends do look a bit straggly.
They do.
But that's just normal.
Yep. It's all right. Wes will work it all out. Yeah, not you, Shirley, the other Shirley. The right hand of the Lord. Right hand of the goddess, you mean? All right. Very cool. All right. Well, if no one else has got any questions or anything, then we might call it a night. So I said I don't think we've got too much to talk about, really.
No, it's been a quite week.
It's been a busy week, but nothing really exciting. All right. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for joining us. Next week is week 4.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be our chat session and our giveaway. So we'll get together a sexy prize for you guys next week, and hopefully we'll see you all then. Otherwise, I'll probably catch up with most of you on Aussie Mailers through the week. All right, thanks again, guys. And we'll catch you next week. Yeah, you be careful, Stephen. All right, bye. Mwah.